Kyle McCord has no more years of college eligibility left, but is it possible he's granted another year?
You are Locked On Syracuse, your daily podcast on the Syracuse Orange, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome into Locked On Syracuse. I'm Jackson Holzer, and thank you for making us your first listen of every single day here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day, and we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And folks, on the second of two mini podcasts this afternoon, we are talking about Kyle McCord. I've been seeing a lot of buzz online about him potentially getting another year of college eligibility. So that's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to tell you guys what I know about the situation, what's the deal, why Kyle McCord doesn't have another year, and is there a case for McCord to get another year? That's what's coming up on this mini podcast here this afternoon. As of right now, Kyle McCord, no more years of college eligibility. That means even if he wants to, he cannot come back to Syracuse University or play college football anywhere. He's out of eligibility. However, like I said, there's been buzz about it. There has. I've been seeing it online lately about him getting another year. And here's what I can tell you with confidence. Now, look, I'm a podcast host, and most of the time when I share you guys information, it's straightly opinion. I am reading and reacting to the news, and I am giving you my thoughts. In this scenario, though, in this case on this topic, I do have a little bit of inside scoop, okay? I have a source that works in the athletic department full-time, and this person told me back in late November that the university, at least at that time, they were trying to get Kyle McCord another year of college eligibility. That's all I know about the situation, okay? All I know, once again, from a source in the athletic department, that they were at least trying as of late November. I don't know if they are still trying. I don't know what the feasibility of it. I don't know exactly what they're trying to argue. And I can't even give you a timetable on this, which means if you're Syracuse, if you're a fan of Syracuse, I would just operate under the assumption that he's not coming back, because as of right now, he doesn't have any years of eligibility, and you don't want to have your hands tied thinking about if Kyle McCord's coming back. All I know is that they were at least trying as of late November. If Kyle McCord were to come back, if the NCAA were to grant him another year of eligibility, I think we would all be ecstatic. I think most, if not all of us, would agree this is plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, plan E, plan F, and you can just keep going around the alphabet, because I think all of us would want Kyle McCord coming back. That would be amazing. I mean, think about what he just did this season. He set basically every Orange passing record in a single year. Passing yards, completions, touchdowns, led the Orange to a 9-3 regular season, an upset win over Miami in the final game where he was spectacular. In 12 games, I think this is honestly maybe the most impressive part about it. In 12 games, he only had one bad game. One bad game in 12. That's pretty good. That's well over 90% hit rate in terms of him playing well. We'd all agree. I think most of us, actually, I should say, would want Kyle to come back. And what I know from what I just told you is that they were at least trying in late November. I don't know if they're still trying. I don't know if it's a feasible case. I hope it is. And that's why coming up, I'm going to tell you guys the deal with this thing. What are the rules regarding eligibility? Where does Kyle McCord fit in that picture? And does Kyle McCord have somewhat of a case to the NCAA that he should get another year of college eligibility? Okay? So that's what's coming up next on the Locked On Syracuse podcast. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Syracuse football is playing in the Holiday Bowl against Washington State on December 27th. They're looking for their 10th win of the season, and FanDuel has Syracuse as nearly a touchdown favorite to get their 10th win of the year. And hopefully that comes true. And what do you think of the 6.5-point odds? Well, you can bet it on FanDuel. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. I'm Jackson Holzer. This is Locked On Syracuse. And on the second mini podcast of this afternoon, we are talking about Kyle McCord. There's been a lot of buzz online about maybe he gets another year of college eligibility. I just shared with you guys exactly what I know about the situation, and that is that in late November, I was made aware of that the university was trying. I don't know if they're still trying, but they were at least trying at some point in late November to get Kyle another year of eligibility. That's the inside scoop that I 100% know with confidence that I can share with you guys, okay? Now it's time to talk about, what is the deal with this? What are the rules of eligibility in college football? And does Kyle McCord have a feasible case to where he can say to the NCAA, I deserve another year, okay? So this is strictly hypothetical, but I'm also going to mix in facts with the eligibility rules. The bottom line is this. There's got to be a reason to get another year of college eligibility. There has to be a reason. I mean, a guy like Cam Rising, a quarterback, is getting an 8th year of college eligibility, I believe, if he so chooses. Meanwhile, a guy like Kyle McCord, as of right now, is not eligible for a 5th season. There's got to be a reason why someone gets a red shirt. And from my understanding, there are unlimited red shirt years based on certain circumstances, okay? Why does Kyle McCord have no more years of college eligibility? That's really the first question here. Why? Well, his first year of college football was in 2021. That was a year after the COVID season. If you recall, during that time, everyone that played during COVID got another free year of college eligibility. A perfect example of this, I believe, is Dillon Gabriel. Dillon Gabriel, the Oregon quarterback, he's really good in the college football playoff. He's on his 6th year of college eligibility. One of those years, I believe, is the COVID year, which he got. So if you were playing during 2020, you got a free year of college eligibility no matter what. Kyle McCord comes in 2021. He does not get the same right as the other players that played during 2020 because that was not the COVID year. You can be mad at it all you want, but that's the information. That is the rule, okay? Also, this is more honestly of a lucky standpoint. This is a good thing of what I'm going to tell you. Kyle McCord has not suffered a season-ending injury in the early portions of any of his 4 seasons in college football. So he does not get an injury year. Now, from my understanding, in college sports, you get, honestly, I think it's like unlimited injury years, where if you don't play a certain amount of games due to injury, you get another year of eligibility. And if you just keep getting injured, you keep getting years of eligibility. Kyle McCord, luckily, has not gotten hurt, at least seriously enough to the point where he misses 4 or less games. Speaking of which, that's a big number in this case, 4 games or less. The big reason why Kyle McCord has no more years of college eligibility and where the case may lie with Kyle McCord boils down to his freshman year in 2021 and the amount of games that he played. Now, in order to be eligible for a healthy red shirt, you got to play in 4 or less games. And you're only allowed to do one of these. You only get one healthy red shirt year in college football, and it's got to be 4 or less. Kyle McCord has played 4 years. He has played 5 or more games in all of those seasons. In fact, it was his true freshman year, he played 5. His true sophomore year, I believe he played 7. And then we know in 2023 and 2024, he was a full-time starter, so he played all the games. But here is really the case with Kyle McCord. It boils down to when he was a true freshman. He was on track to redshirt. He had played in 4 games for Ohio State. Okay? But he played a 5th game. It was the second last week of the regular season. They're playing Michigan State, and Ohio State won the game 56-7. 56-7, guys. McCord was on track to redshirt. And then his coach, Ryan Day, decided to put him in the game in the second half of a game they won 56-7. That blew his redshirt. Kyle McCord in that game threw 8 passes. That is why he is not eligible for another year, because that Michigan State game that he played in, a game in which Ohio State dominated from start to finish, he was put in the game in a meaningless time. It's unfortunate, but that's what happened. So really the case boils down to this. Is the NCAA maybe going to look at that and say, hey, like that's negligence on Ryan Day's part? He didn't mean to burn Kyle McCord's year of eligibility? Because that's what he did. He burned it. He burned the redshirt year by putting him in that 5th game. Or is the NCAA going to say, tough luck? That sucks. I don't know. I have no idea. The NCAA is very kooky, as we all know. Their decisions are inconsistent. In fact, that's the only thing you can bank on with the NCAA. You know they're going to be inconsistent. There is no precedent with the NCAA. So I have no idea. I think what's best for everyone to address this topic right now is this. I would just advise you all to not assume that he's coming back. Just don't assume it. If it happens, great. We'll all be thrilled. But I'm not assuming it. I'm operating under the assumption, and I think the school, at least Fran Brown and his staff, are operating under the assumption that Kyle McCord will not be back. I advise the fans and the listeners and watchers of this podcast to do the same. We're probably not going to have Kyle McCord next season. We knew going into the year he had only 1 year of college eligibility left. It was a fantastic year. We all wish that he can come back, and maybe there is a chance. Maybe there is a chance, right? But for now, as of this recording, December 11th at 2:11 p.m. Eastern, I would not bank on it. I don't have a timetable for you all. So especially because of that, I mean, we don't even have a timetable on if and when we'll get an announcement. We might not ever get an announcement of this, which would obviously mean no. If there's no announcement, obviously it's a no. So we'll see. But right now, I would exercise caution on this. Let's just operate under the assumption we're going to have a new quarterback in 2025. But I hope it happens. I would love for Kyle to come back. Okay? So this has been the second of 2 mini podcasts this afternoon. I hope you guys enjoyed both of them. Tomorrow, maybe there will be a mini podcast, but I would have to plan that spontaneously. For now, I have something planned, and that is that we have a full podcast. There are now 4 quarterbacks that Syracuse is linked to in the transfer portal. 4 of them. Because another one from Virginia has been linked to Syracuse and is eyeing a visit to the Orange. Once again, I am not assuming that Kyle McCord's coming back. So we're still talking transfer portal quarterback options. Okay? There's now 4 of them. The guy from Virginia. We're going to talk about him and also where he fits into the 4 quarterbacks that are linked with Syracuse. That's what's coming up tomorrow in a full podcast on the Locked On Syracuse podcast. I'm Jackson Holzer. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for listening. If you like this video, click that like button. If you really liked it, subscribe to the channel, turn on those notifications so you know right away when I am dropping the next podcast. And then we'll see you all tomorrow because we're talking quarterbacks in the transfer portal.